Lights, action.
Action. Hey, we got action.
We got action for you. Oh, yeah.
Lots of action. Because we're the Fungrannies.
Oh, yes, we are.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I was talking to my son today, and he was saying that he's been watching some of our YouTube videos.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one? Sue Oliver or Fungrannies?
Fungrannies.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry, Sue Oliver.
Was it Sue Oliver?
Yeah, it was Sue Oliver.
Oh.
Because that we have more content on that one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or this one, I don't know, whatever one we're on. But yeah, and he was saying that, because Mom, because you guys are hilarious. He says, you should have a podcast. I'm like,
A what? A podcast? We had no idea what that
Yeah,
thing
I mean, I've heard of podcasts, but never have I
cast a pod.
cast a pod. You know, that kind of thing,
It's
right?
like, are you kidding me?
Can you do that here on your phone?
Really? Yeah,
I
you
didn't know.
can. Well,
Anyways.
technology and us was, like I said,
we're sexagenarians, so
and that means we're in our 60s.
we're in our 60s and we're allowed to be a little, behind the times if you were, smart.
Well, anyhow, that's just the way it is with us, and so we just learned this. That,
Yeah.
we could do a podcast here, and I'm thinking, well, how?
Any kind of a podcast that we'd want to do probably couldn't go on YouTube.
Well,
We have a hard time staying within the guidelines, especially if we're live and you're out there and we're in here and we're, that would be.
in front of a camera, and you know what happens.
I
So
do
it's
know
like,
exactly
ooh.
what happens. And
So, anyhow, on the podcast, if we can stay within the guidelines, what would we talk about? Like anything like is what's the subject's going to be? Because the subjects that I'm used to talking about, we talk about. Would you come up with the subjects, or do we just come up with a subject? How does that work?
Well, I think when you have a podcast, it's a subject. It's not just question and answer kind of thing, right?
Well, what would our subject be?
Well, there's all kinds of subjects. Pick a subject.
How about podcast? I mean, think about that. That's a subject in itself.
I know.
Podcast.
Cast.
I never put those words together. No. It was like in a garden, like
Yeah,
podcast
you
is seeds everywhere. It's
Yeah.
like, what's
When
up with that?
when I hear the word podcast, I think of green beans. No, green peas.
Green peas, yeah.
In pods, right?
Mm-hmm. So, and the cast is like, oh, I was thinking of a camera, like Cameron Jackson. You got the cast.
No, cast and crew.
The cast and crew.
Or that was about that thing you had stuck on your arm last year.
Oh, that was a cast.
Oh, kind of cast.
It was kind of, my arm was in a little pod, It was a podcast.
It was a podcast.
Oh, jeez.
So, and there's that, just a perfect example of, how words can have so many different meanings.
I know. Maybe
like-
that's what our podcast should be about, different words.
See, now that's going to get us into trouble. Right there, that's going to get us into trouble.
Well, hold on, we're not talking about roosters here. That'll get us into trouble. But podcasts is okay.
We have a rooster. His name is Pecker. That's not going to get us into trouble.
Not because that's the name of there's. Oh, and thank you for mentioning, because it was one of you guys that put in the comments that we should name them.
I believe it was.
Yeah. So the podcast. Would you come and watch it?
Oh yeah. Well, I hope so.
Well, I need to know, because I'm not
Because-
going to turn this on unless there's enough people in that thing.
If there's no audience, there ain't no show.
If there ain't no audience, there ain't no show. And that's a fact.
That is a fact.
So if you're going to be there, I want to hear from you. I want to
Yeah.
hear from the comments. I want to know that you would be there. I mean, you can type 1 for yes and 2 for no. I don't care, but just let me know if you're going to be there, because then we'll do it. A podcast.
Yeah.
When would we do that on?
Usually Sundays.
On a Sunday.
Well, it's always usually pretty quiet here on a Sunday.
Except for the dogs, but
Yeah, except
they're
for
pretty
dogs.
good on Sundays.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Not a lot of workers going by.
There's not a lot for them to bark at.
So that would be it. That would be good. And what day, if you're doing, number 1, well, not, what I'm pushing number 1. What day would you prefer it on? So 1.
Say Sundays.
I guess we're gonna do it on a Sunday. Votes, you know.
Place your votes.
No, we're doing it on a Sunday. We already made up our mind.
Okay, well, Sunday sounds good to me.
Okay, so now here's the other part.
That's-
Is like at what time on a Sunday? I mean, you know, our audience, or you guys actually, or girls, people, audience, it ranges. Sunday's the best day, and it's like from 6 a.m. to like 1 p.m. That's when the most group is watching. So now, how should we have it between? I'll tell you, unless it's at least 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, it's just there's gonna be no show, honey.
Ain't no show.
Ain't no
Even
show.
if there is an audience.
There just won't be no show.
No,
Yeah.
probably around like 11:30 till 12,
12 to 1.
12:30. Well, yeah.
How long would it have to be?
I
That's
don't
another
know.
question. Let us know in the comments below. How long does this podcast have to be?
Yeah.
Oh, what if we're having fun and we want to go longer? Is it limited?
Is it? I don't think so.
I don't know. No.
We'll have to do some research on this.
Yeah.
But as long as we know you guys are in and you'd want to tune in,
Then we will
you
do
know,
it.
that gives us the encouragement to, okay, we'll do that.
Okay. We thought about this yesterday, which was Sunday. So we got a whole week
Right,
to get this happening.
right.
And it's up to you to say number one.
Yeah, yes or no. 1 is yes, 2 is no.
Or just yes or no.
Oh, you could just do that.
You could,
Or just write the number 1.
or be there.
Or write the number 2.
I'll be there.
Or just be there.
RSVP, yes.
Yeah. What a girl.
Well, that's just the way it is, okay?
It's just the way it is.
Hope you like this. I mean, let us know. And that's it.
That's all.
Adios.